I had a breast reduction and a tummy tuck, also known in the world as a mommy makeover. I had been on a health regimen for over a year, and I had finally lost 65 pounds and knew that it was time to take care of the additional skin and reduce the breast. And I just really wanted to feel good about myself. So it was something I'd been considering, and I decided that this was something I was going to pursue. I chose Charlotte Plastic Surgery because when I came and I met with Dr. Chandler, it was an immediate connection. She walked me through every single part of the process. She showed me pictures. I had zero questions when I went out. And the fact that she was a woman, so she knows female bodies, was incredibly important to me. So the decision was made like the second I walked in here, and the second I walked out, I knew where I was coming. I felt great going into the surgery, and I knew what the expectation was in terms of my health and what I needed to be focused on the day of the surgery. So I was confident. I wasn't even nervous, which is weird because you'd think I would be nervous. But the day I got here, there was this crew of amazing women that came in, from the nurses, the nurse anesthesiologists, and I'm a huge advocate for women being the big bosses. So the fact that I had an all-female team, to me, I relaxed. I knew that I was in excellent hands. I really wanted small, perky breasts. I had not had those since I was a teenager. And I also had a lot of additional skin around my abdomen. I had a C-section with my daughter 20 years ago and never really kind of was able to get that skin back into where, I had somewhat of a flat stomach. And then when I gained after menopause and then lost a ton of weight, there was a lot of skin that was just kind of prohibited my ability to feel perfect about myself. And I really wanted to be able to take care of that. I was completely at ease. She made me extremely comfortable, and especially because she took the time to walk through with video and slides, like what the different types of procedure that I was having, what would be like going in and what it would be like going out. We talked a lot about the recovery process, and I had a lot of people I understand come into this type of procedure with the expectation that they're going to be like bouncing around on the tennis court in 7 days. But I had done a lot of my own research, and I knew that it was going to be a dedicated healing process, and I was mentally and physically prepared to go undergo that. I was actually surprised at how well, given my age, that I actually rebounded after 2 weeks, and just gradually every single day I got better and better and better. The first day was the hardest, as it is with any procedure you have, even a root canal. And then, every day after that, I could feel myself improving. And, I didn't feel like I had any problems recovering. I remember, there being a lot of support around me when I woke up. I had a dear friend with me who was taking me to her house to care for me over a few days. So I felt completely, I had a recovery plan, which I think is incredibly important. And Dr. Chandler texted me. I would text her with questions. She was incredibly responsive, which I rarely have ever seen in a doctor, especially a surgeon. There was never a moment where I didn't get a response from her within 5 minutes on how silly or how, thorough the question was that I had. I felt like I was in control of my own health and my own recovery and had all the information I needed. 100% confidence. I mean, my daughter says I'm snatched now, which, makes me feel amazing. And I had to get all new clothes, which makes me feel even more amazing. My bank account, not so much. But I feel great going out, and there have been so many people who I hadn't seen in a while who will just be like, actually, you look as good as you did in college. How are you reverse aging? And of course, I told them they were my favorite people ever. And the confidence and the energy level I have is phenomenal. It really did so much for my self-esteem, and I think anybody who's ever questioning it, they should really look into it, because it's given me a new lease, really, on my ability to enjoy my retirement and traveling and just feeling really good about myself, which I think is the most important thing there is. I mean, I don't even wear a bra half the time, but that to me, that's never, I've always been so jealous of people who didn't have to wear bras, because, you know, they are quite annoying. And I have several friends who have had breast reductions over the years, numerous friends, and they've always said, I never looked back. I've never been as happy. My clothes fit better. I can wear shirts that are a little tighter now than I used to. I used to wear these baggy clothes, which actually every time I look at a picture looked horrible on me. But the surgery really gave me the confidence to just kind of change my whole aesthetic and kind of dress the way that I wanted to look and present. And the surgery gave me that ability. 100%. I've recommended them. I actually live in Charleston, South Carolina, and I have several girlfriends who've been so impressed with my results and how good I look, and they're all like, can I come to Charleston? I mean, can I come to Charlotte and do my next breast reduction? Because a lot of women now, it's been 20 or so years since their last one, and they'd like to have another reduction. So I was like, sure, let's caravan right on up there. I got a list of things I'm gonna do after this, so we can make a party of it. I would say, do your research. If you have lost weight and this is the next step to what you're doing, or if you just want a breast reduction because over time they, like to drop, then I would say do the research about what the expectation is of the surgery. Make sure that you spend time with your surgeon and you develop the questions before you go in and ask the questions that you have. Most importantly, understand and research what the recovery is going to be, because how you recover is up to you. And if you have taken care of yourself and you know what you need to do to get back to your 100%, then your recovery is really, I don't want to say easy, but the expectation of what you're going to go through is completely normal. When you first come home, you have to change the bandages and you can't, I couldn't really reach and stuff. So my husband was helping me and he welled up with tears. He was like, I'm so happy for you. This is something you have wanted to do for so long and you look amazing. I'm proud of you and I am just so happy that you finally have gotten what you want. And that just thrilled me to know that he was happy. I was out west in August, and I was getting a massage, and I said, this was 4 months after my surgery, I said, well, I have these scars, so be careful of those. It's probably a good thing if you massage them, whatever. And during the massage, he said, well, I don't know who your surgeon is, but you need to compliment them, because I've seen a lot of scars, and I have to tell you, these are beautiful. And I was like, well, I'll be sure to tell her.